Ned, I think I just got my first hater on YouTube, man. I'm becoming YouTube famous here. Thank
Congratulations.
you, thank you. Yeah, it's a big milestone. Even though I call him a hater, is it was somewhat of a constructive back and forth in the comments about my past video where I posted a video where I bought my third property when I got the keys, and it did surprisingly well for my level of a channel, which is a few hundred subscribers or 100 and something subscribers.
Yeah, man, you're about to
Videos
crack a
go.
thousand views. You'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to optimize for subscribers here, but videos like this and comments like this are make it better for also me to learn and clarify, why I'm in this journey, why I'm doing this. So I think I'm gonna need your opinion and your help, and we're gonna dissect some of these comments from this person and see if I'm right, if he's right, if we're both somewhat right, and hopefully we can learn something from this. I will share the screen so we can look at the comments, and I think this is going to bring a lot of value to people, I believe.
Yeah,
So here we go.
I'm pulling up the conversation too, so I can read it on my end.
All right, can you see the screen?
I can see the screen.
All right, so this is the channel page here. This is the video here. As you can see, I did pretty good. This is when I purchased my third property here when I got the keys. So I made a little walkthrough. This is what the video was about, really. And the comment wasn't really about the video itself. I would say it was mostly about this title, saying that I got my third property. So I think they didn't really like that. So let's scroll down and find that. It's this comment right here. And here we go. Hopefully people can see this well. This is how it started. And this is just a random user. As you can see, it's not really much of a name. He says it is criminal to own more than one home, and it is even more criminal to make a profit off housing. Housing is a basic human right to function, and gouged rents are making it impossible to live and save up money for our own home.
I, I mean, I want to say it's just like a defeatist attitude because he's
Mhm.
blaming you for. Well, first off, he shoots himself in the foot with his argument because he opens up and says, excessive ownership and usury of said resource, a home and land. You don't own any homes. You own apartment buildings. They're small,
Mhm.
but I mean, I worked as a realtor for a little while, and even try to encourage my other friends to buy small multifamilies and house hack in them because
I do the
it's one of
same.
these it's the smartest thing you can convince one of your young friends to do, and anyone
Mhm.
watching this channel should absolutely do it.
Yep.
But when someone goes to buy a home, their first home, 99% of the time, maybe more, they don't want to buy a small apartment building. So
Mhm.
you're not competing with people who are looking to buy their first time home.
Yep.
It would be
Correct.
amazing if more young people would do this because it would solve maybe not a lot, but a little bit of the wealth issue in,
Mhm.
that America and lots of other places in the world are having. But you're not competing for the same housing stock. Uh, it's technically housing stock, I guess, because it's 4 units and less is legally defined or a commercially is not defined as commercial property. 4 units
Yeah.
and less. So everyone, or not everyone, most people in our sphere of real estate influencers focuses on 2 to 4 units because it's the easiest place to get started.
Mhm. Yep.
And then a lot of people will grow out of that, or some people choose not to. But the bigger you go, the less you're interfering with this market. I just think this guy is barking up the wrong tree. You're not the problem. You're
Mhm.
supplying an affordable place for someone to live between home ownership and where they're
Right.
going to live before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, this is how I responded, right? As you can see in the comment. I understand to feel frustrated by the current housing situation. It's important to understand that a real estate investor like me is solving that problem and not causing it. I'm buying distressed properties and putting my money, time, and labor into them to turn them around and provide affordable housing. people like me are providing solutions to the housing problem, of course, I'll profit from that because I'm doing something that most people won't do. I work 12-hour days so that you can have a place to live. If you want to come on my channel and talk about this, I'd be excited to do it with you. Maybe I'm missing something. So I even invited him on my channel, see if he wants to do a little mini debate. And I think I was pretty nice, right, with the response. And
You were super nice, but
I
he's a
also said
coward.
that
He's not going to
maybe I'm
come.
missing
I
something, so I kind of
I don't
left it
see him
open.
coming. I don't see
Oh
him
yeah,
coming on your
absolutely not.
channel because I mean, I've talked with so many young people who think that being a landlord will instantly make them evil. So they're like, "Oh no, I couldn't be the man. I couldn't own a small apartment building." And it's like the few that I have actually got to do it. I think I've got three people I've mentored, just from church or just kids from people I work with and stuff like that, who have bought it and now are so much better off than they would have been, or like buying or putting on that expansion so they can have an extra room for their baby on the duplex that they bought. Is buying a small multifamily is gives you so much leverage when you're younger that basically none of your other friends have, because you're getting rid of your housing expense
Yep.
or
Biggest expense for most
reducing
people.
it, or maybe even if you found a screaming good deal, maybe you're getting paid to live in your house.
Hmm.
um and people like this are just ignorant, and I think he's just lashing out because he's saying that you've solved no problems. You now own two buildings that you control and can gouge rent on. If you gouge rent, people won't rent from you because it's too
Of
expensive.
course.
The
Yeah.
market decides what the rent is, not you're not some evil like cartoon landlord from a Disney movie.
Case in point
With
with my
this.
with my current house hack, when I put it up for rent, this the unit upstairs, it's a massive unit. It's a 5 bedroom, 2 bath, and I put it up for 3,000. I felt like it was a lot, and I was afraid that I wasn't gonna get anyone. But there was a family that was desperate to move into it, and they required exactly what I was offering. And they were more
Yeah.
than happy to pay for it, and I just solved their problem. Otherwise, they couldn't live in this city because how many units are there that have 5 bedrooms, 2 baths? So
Well, and also they're a young family, but more importantly here, what he's saying is he's basically implying that excess ownership is usury.
yeah.
Right after you said you bought a distressed property and fixed it up.
Hmm.
Most people who are in a situation where they can't afford to get into their first home are going out and trying to buy things that are distressed enough to where they can buy it, or small enough to where they can buy it, but they can't buy stuff as distressed as you were buying, specifically because they can't afford to fix it up.
Even if they can afford it, not everyone can rehab a property. I've found that out the past few years. You can't just hire someone and expect that he's gonna, well, you're gonna pay a premium if you do that. And
Yeah,
also
there's
contracting
a lot
contractors
of
also,
risk.
it's a whole different ball game. So just because you can afford it doesn't mean that you'll be able to. uh,
I would be curious to see, or to talk, or to, if you had the conversation with this guy, would he be as upset with you if you flipped homes? Like, is that usury? Because you're fixing the housing stock and then putting it back out there. Like,
yeah.
uh, but would it be like I'm not understanding his train of thought, other than the fact that he's just ignorant and doesn't
Yeah.
understand what's
Well,
going
I
on here, which
think
is fine. Like
people
you
like
can be
this.
educated out of that situation. You can
Yeah,
learn.
yeah, exactly. And I think people like this like come from like a good place, right? I think he like means well. And then when he mentioned usury there, so I'm uh I'm a little bit torn when it comes to usury. I mean, this is probably another video we could get into, but there's also different types of usury, right? You have Well, that's gonna be another video. There's many different types, but like I said here on this next comment here, I said I'm against you. I'm usually against usury. I don't think you know what usury means if you're using it in this context, which I think you also said that earlier, right? With this
Well,
that
he's
you
saying in
get
his
excessive
second
ownership.
to last post that housing is a human right, which it is. It isn't. It's not in the Constitution.
Yeah,
It's,
it's
as
not.
far as I know, it's not in the Bible.
It's
Like
not.
if
Yep.
if housing is a human right, then sure, like everyone gets to go put two sticks in the ground and get a blanket. You got a tent. There you go. There's your
Mhm.
house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then
Uh,
say, what do I say here? Homes I bought were for sale in the free market, which also like I'm solving the problem of the seller too, right? The seller wants to sell the house, and I
yeah.
am
And more
providing
importantly,
that.
if that house is in distress, like the stuff that you and I
Mhm.
go after,
Yep,
that seller is probably retired or retiring and doesn't really want to deal with a property. And in most cases, I've found that if I'm buying something, because I'm earlier on in my career, I want to buy the property that's a problem because I want to solve the problem. You get paid
exactly.
more when you solve a problem. But when you buy a
And that's pretty much what
property,
we're doing. Yeah.
it's broken or it's aged or it's got like weird like asbestos or
Oh,
lead.
trash,
There's a
like
whole
my
bunch of
property.
weird abatement issues and or
Hmm.
it's unfinanceable. There's a bunch of stuff wrong with it to where a normal buyer
Yep.
can't buy it because the bank's going to be like, sorry, you don't have any experience and you don't have any capital. Sorry, shove off.
Yep, exactly. So I don't
So,
know what he expects to happen to properties like this. Do we just let them sit and rot and then they become distressed and they make the whole neighborhood worse? So
well,
that's
no, because that does exactly what he's saying that you're doing. If you did
Mhm.
that, if you just if everyone backed off, the housing stock would reduce,
Hmm.
costs would go up because people aren't fixing old busted properties. So now only thing people can buy is stuff that I don't know how much it costs to build where you're at. Isn't it like 350 a square foot or something
350,
crazy like that new?
450. Yeah. About 450 would be 400 average.
450 new? That's insane.
Hmm.
It's like 180 to 230 here.
For a single family, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know. You're closer up to like New York and Boston and all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
cost of living's a little
And
higher up
in
there.
this comment, I also did mention that I'm adding another unit to this property. So the property that I bought is a single family, and then my city started to allow ADUs for single families. So I'm going to add another unit to this. And I mentioned that here, and I'm making it available for rent so that the person who couldn't buy it can now rent. I'm providing solutions to the housing problem. Also, most people don't want to own, most of them want to rent, which I'm actually not sure about what I said here. Do you think that's true? Do most people want to rent versus own?
I think the American ideal is to rent, but the problem
Mm.
is the American ideal. No, the American ideal is to own. I misspoke.
Yeah.
The American ideal, what everyone wants, is they want the white picket fence. They want the
Mhm.
single family house. They want home ownership so that when they've paid it off in their 50s or 60s or
Yep.
70s, whatever age they're at, they don't
Mhm.
have to worry about that expense.
Yep.
The
I don't
problem
want a
with that
duplex with
is,
a tenant upstairs. That's
yeah,
not
the
fair.
problem with that is they don't want what you have. But
Yeah.
what's weird is, so I use this example every now and then when I'm talking to people. In New Orleans, when people moved to New Orleans and built homes, one of the only ways that way back in the day that they could afford to live in homes is they were small multifamily because you would live, with grandma or mom and
Hmm.
dad next door, or
Generational.
you'd live above your shop. You'd
Mhm.
combine all those things to keep your costs down.
Yep.
So this house hacking thing we're doing is we're literally reverting back in time to what was done way back in the old days because this is what made sense when money was tighter, when
Hmm.
interest rates weren't sub 4 or 5% for a decade and a half or no, a decade. Um, so if anything, we're reverting with our style of doing this back to what was the norm.
Hmm.
And if anything, small landlords like you and I are way more reasonable than these big corporate landlords who give renters such a hard time and don't fix stuff right. I've literally gone out Christmas Eve with a heater before because a heating unit broke, and I've put a heater in every room in somebody's house just because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you know, because my my property management guys were all on vacation with families and stuff, and you just have to do that because it's
Mhm.
the right thing to do. You own the property; it's your responsibility to take care.
Yeah. It's your
Is corporate
responsibility.
landlord going to do that? No, they're
Oh,
not.
no. Well, I think that this is exactly what he's saying in his next comment. He's saying, he's saying you solved nothing, meaning me adding that other unit. You now own two more buildings that you control and can gouge rent on your tenants, who you also know how much they make. If they make more, your greed will kick in and you will cipher off their pay into your pockets, which now makes them poorer. So he's saying, I'm gonna increase the rents
No,
proportionate to their income, right? And so what I say to that is, I don't raise rents based on their income. That's a quick way for them to stop paying. I actually want what they pay for rent to be as small as possible compared to their income. That's how I retain great tenants and they love living there. If I raise the rents willy-nilly, they can just rent from someone else that charges less. This is how the free market works. Do you own or do you rent where you live? So this is a question for him. Also, I mentioned before, most people want to rent. They don't want to maintain and worry about upkeep. I do all of that.
Yeah, you're doing a service. I think he
Mhm.
thinks it's like these big Wall Street landlords who are coming in, and everyone sees was it BlackRock buying
Yeah,
up
buying single family
tens of
homes. Yeah.
thousands of houses and then
Mhm.
just sticking people in there and not repairing them. That's what we need more of is small time landlords. If
Mhm.
we had just instead of just BlackRock, if you had 100,000 small landlords with anywhere from 5 to 50 to 100 units,
Mhm.
all managing their stuff hands on. First off, if BlackRock owns it, that rent, all that money is going to Wall Street. It's not staying local. It's the
Absolutely.
same thing we're talking about with when people say, "Hey, support local businesses." Local landlords are local businesses. You
Local,
spend your money locally,
mhm.
that money is going to get reinvested and stay local.
It's all local, and
Whereas if you
it's a
go
big
rent from the
part of
big
it.
nice building downtown, that money is not staying in your town.
Mhm.
There's no way.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
a couple of those big buildings might be locally owned, but most are going to be owned by Wall Street.
Yeah, yeah, and then he says next, I live in the country, rent free, property tax free, not enslaved by city utilities or bureaucracy of any kind. I do not rent space to others, as I know that housing is a basic human right ordained by God, and one is not to profit of basic human needs. God never charges me to live on earth, so I must honorably do the same. Profiteering off the flesh of others in
This
any
guy's a
capacity is
freeloader. He's
pure
not paying
evil.
any
It
taxes. He's
only,
not giving back to the community in any. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
all
This
right,
is
no
pissing
problem.
me off. He's not paying taxes. He's not giving back to the community because he's not contributing to the local economy in any way
Mhm.
because he's got this little property out in the middle of nowhere. It sounds like it's outside of a town, so it's not even incorporated. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not contributing to the infrastructure or the roads.
Hmm.
So he's actually a cost on society, whereas you're paying into the system.
Yep, and also stimulating the economy, especially the local economy. I'm hiring carpenters, plumbers, and all local, and paying the property taxes around here. But to be fair, though, this guy seems like he's living the dream. That's my dream. My dream is to live in the country, have a little homestead, be off the grid. So stay tuned for some channel updates in the future about my homestead. That's it's gonna be like 5 years later.
Absolutely. But it sounds to me like he doesn't do anything outside of that. You're still going to have your rental business. You're still going to have a business where you're employing local carpenters, you're buying
Absolutely.
local commodities such as wood, copper, roofing, drywall. All of these expenses in your business are going to basically employ the people in the town
Yep.
or portion of the people in the town that are renting from you. It's this guy is not paying into the system. He's
Mhm.
unplugged and probably leeching off the system by the way he's worded that. He I mean maybe it's different. Maybe he's not doing that. He's not really
Yeah.
saying what his job is or anything, but it
Yeah,
doesn't sound
they
like
did
he's
say
paying it.
property tax free, so I don't know how that's possible. So that's exactly what I asked him next. I say, how are you property tax free? I agree with, and he also mentioned God in that last one, by the way. So I think I respond here. I agree with not being enslaved to city life. So, and I actually do agree with that. Like I think most people got to have a little homestead, a little garden, and I think that's the best way to contribute to others and even like the environment. But that's a different topic.
He didn't answer your property tax question is all
Mhm.
I'm pointing out here is he shied away once it was pointed out that he's not paying into the system.
Yeah. Housing is a basic human need. I mean, it is a need, but you have to work for those needs. They're not granted to you. That's what I say.
Yeah, you have to pay it into the system.
Hmm.
Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as everyone always says, what is it like
Yep.
food, shelter, and then you got all the other less
Yeah, those
important
are the
things.
needs, but they're not guaranteed to everyone, right? You got to work
Yeah,
for
you need to
those.
contribute to the system for society to pay back
Exactly. Yeah.
enough to where you can then work your way up that pyramid or the hierarchy of needs.
Mhm.
But you can't just hop in there and freeload like this guy's implying unless he's leaving details out that'll help us better understand how he's contributing. But
Yeah, well, I think he's probably maybe just one of these landlord haters. There's a lot of landlord haters out there. I wasn't aware until well, I became a landlord, I guess. But Yeah, so
Well, I think people misinterpret the term because it's rent seeking versus rent seeking. So do you know what rent seeking behavior is?
no, I don't.
So you go to Investopedia real quick. You can look up the definition. Rent seeking is an economic concept that occurs when an entity seeks to gain added wealth without any reciprocal contribution of productivity. Typically revolves around government-funded social services or social service
Mhm.
programs. So the idea would be like, I'm going to get paid for not doing anything.
Yeah, good luck.
So the idea that you don't do anything when I've literally seen you like doing drywall, plumbing, electrical, and all this other crazy stuff, he thinks that you just own the property and don't put it in any work. You don't go and do the research, find the financing, control and manage
Exactly,
the
yeah.
asset. He thinks it's plug and play and that there's no work to this. He's ignoring the anywhere from probably 2 to 3 years of reading and research and
Mhm.
self-education that you did to be able to do all this stuff.
Yeah,
And I
I
think it's
guess that's what
insulting.
people
So
don't see. Yeah. It means I gotta post more on-site content for them to see me doing all this demo and all this stuff. So
he's
yeah.
not going to watch it. He just wants to
Oh, I know that.
complain
I
that
know.
you're
I'm just
winning and he's not.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that was the end of the comments, but yeah, I think
You got me heated, man. I am sorry.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I think it was I learned a little bit about myself because I really thought about these comments when I was responding to him. And then it I solidified my I guess my wants or my desire to continue being a landlord and providing the service. So it actually made it stronger for me, made my will to do this even stronger. So yeah, well, what do you think? What are your closing thoughts about this?
My closing thoughts are pretty simple. I think that this guy's frustration, it's with himself and the education system and the fact that he hasn't accomplished the things that he wants to accomplish.
Mhm.
But I think a big part of it is the big landlords are making all of us look bad, and we need to make sure that there's a clear distinction between a mom and pop operation, a small business, and
Mhm.
Wall Street.
And slumlords too. We got to make sure
Oh yeah,
slumlord.
slumlords are trash.
Yeah.
Uh, and if you're in a neighborhood full of slumlords, it's very easy to make a lot more money than them because they are literally your best advertisers. You start running stuff well, keeping your property clean. For
Mhm.
some reason, all the tenants who are in slumlord buildings end up in your building because
Yeah.
you're just running things better. Uh, yeah, I think small mom and pop landlords like ourselves and the other people that we
Mhm.
talk with and hang out with and collaborate with all need to do a better job moving forward of showing the work we put in to try and make our tenants' lives better and their living situations better.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's why I have this channel as well, along with other reasons. But yeah, I should definitely
Because
have some more content with on-sites for sure.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff we do that the bigger operators would never do. I don't see the bigger operators going out there on Christmas Eve and making sure that people got
Right.
power and stuff like that.
No, it's not happening.
Yeah. So
All
unless
right.
the building's on fire,
Yeah.
you're going to be waiting a
Because
couple of
then it
days to
hurts
not pay.
them. They don't really care about the tenants. But all right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you have some criticisms for us, I think we need some of that. Let us know what you thought about this comment chain here. And let us know if we missed anything, if we're doing a bad job, if we're hoarding properties, all of that. Leave us a comment, and thank you for watching. Also, go to Ned's channel. It's called Ned Talks. He has some good content, and the channel is growing. So go follow him and let
Everybody
us.
like and subscribe to Landlord Odyssey. Give Radion some support here.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Take care. See ya.